Well. What is going on, LBHT crew? B, what is going on? What is going on with my man Lamar?
Well, what's going on with your man Lamar is the NFL has decided to band together against him.
Yes.
More importantly than that, I have been betrayed by David Tepper.
Oh,
Apparently.
listen, man, Lamar is Lamar is affecting both of our teams. He is putting both teams in the headlines.
We're both teams. I don't have a team.
I don't have a team either. Lamar doesn't have a team either. Here goes E. E says, I told you. You didn't tell me anything. Lamar hasn't signed anything yet. No team has worked out anything yet. Because he was trying to read the tea leaves, try to change his stance real quick, say, oh, Lamar's not going to get a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to get a gigantic deal.
Even if he stays in Baltimore, he's getting a huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, look, and he's going to get exactly what he wants. So, we'll talk about that. That's going to dominate the show, I suspect, which is why I didn't put too many topics in the lineup. But obviously, huge news. It broke yesterday. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna discuss a little NBA because there's one or two hot topics there that need to be discussed as well. Okay. What's going on, chat? Shout out to our guy Brandon Bazel. What is going on? Says rapid fire comment. I'm here for it. Yes. Coach says, this thing on? What's going on, Coach? Shout out to you. Thanks for coming through. Our guy MJ's in the house. Says, yo, let's get Lamar paid. We are going to show Lamar how to get paid. We helped out EDC a couple times on the show. He called middle of the night crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt bad, so I gave him some advice. Lamar wasn't crying. Lamar was cool, but he hit me up and said, hey, what do you think about this whole situation? I said, stay tuned. Jose, B, and the LBHT crew, we're gonna get you right. Okay.
Yeah, listen, tune in on Wednesday. You ain't special.
You gotta wait just like everybody else. Or he could sign up for patreon.com/LBHTShow, hit that Discord. Maybe we get to him sooner. Facts. Just Alla, what's going on? Says, hello, LBHT crew. What's up, Jose and Brodny? The word of today, collusion. I wish I would have had that. I'd have had that video primed up. Man, missed opportunity. Raven Ross says, what up, LBHT? We can't compare LB or linebacker or cornerback without an agent deals to a QB without an agent. Huge difference in money. No. No.
They made Roquan the highest paid linebacker in history.
Right.
They didn't have a problem paying him what he was owed.
He can get paid like a special team, I can tell you that. Shout out to our guy Hendo. Ravens Online on Gatekeeper says, LBHT, let's go. Is it the best time? It is the best time of the week. Hey, well, look, I beg to differ. Hendo was streaming right before our stream. That was a quality stream. You guys need to go and check out his channel, Ravens Online on Gatekeepers, because you don't know when he's gonna give you a pop-up stream. Okay. I was pleasantly surprised. I almost didn't. I was about to say, "Hey, cancel the show." Let's just keep this going.
Because Hendo loves to stream. Hendo don't like to let that get out. Yeah, but he loves streaming.
D Weezy, what's going on? Thanks for coming through, man. Living big with Big Reg. He also put out a video today. Go over there, hit the subscribe button. Like it says right there, Living Big with Big Reg. Okay, I saw the video. Salute, man. Appreciate the shout out. All right. Check out the video. Dope video. All right. MDT Sports says, let's get today. Have a lot to say. Oh, do we? Yes, we do. Indeed. King 95, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. Alfonso Richardson. Yes. Our guy E here says, bye-bye, Lamar. Yeah, that's what they're going to be saying. Shout out to Anonymous for a $25 donation. Says, have a marvelous show. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Get the show started. Get the show started with a donation. And if you want to be awesome, like Anonymous, okay, that's how we do our super chat here. Okay, we do it two ways. First is right below B, $ LBHT show. That is the Cash App. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our stream elements. Both ways, Leave your donation, leave your comment. You'll get a nice little animation right there next to my face. Appreciate you. What's going on, Tanja? Thanks for coming through. Coach says, my wife said, well, Brodny, no Lamar for you either.
No. Lamar's still coming. Don't worry.
Andre Mears, what's going on? Ferris, what is going on? Lots of people are here. They're ready to talk. Gurun Singh says, I think the Jets are about to come in for Lamar. Oh, okay. Anthony Price over there on Facebook. Appreciate you. Says, remember when Cleveland said they don't want Watson and then turned around to sign him? Falcons getting Lamar.
Oh, not the Falcons, but you are correct, sir.
One Sessions, what's going on? DDSQ, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. Yolanda B, what is going on? Yolanda? Appreciate you coming through. Yes, Omar Tillman. Oh man, they are ready. Yes. They are ready. Marco G's in the house. Godson even showed up. What's going on, Godson?
What's up, God's child?
God's child. It's Godson, but it was God's child. Yeah, I'm not saying it. I mean, I said Godson. That used to be his name. He changed it to God's child. Yes. Tracy, what's going on? Says, can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Love this time on Wednesdays. My favorite show. Thank you so much. Danity's in the house. As Lamar is a gunner. He's a Panther now. Shaking my head. Ravens don't deserve good things. Okay.
I'm talking about. And Coach's wife still talking. Wow. She says to keep hope alive. Listen, it's not about keeping hope alive. It's about keeping foot on necks.
Yes. And shout out to Manuel Call of Duty channel and P Brownie. Appreciate y'all coming through. All right, look, you guys are ready. I mean, you're filling in. I know what you guys want. Okay, we're going to get to it. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah, so being that it's International Women's Day, I thought that we might celebrate one of the unsung or lesser known, I mean, more well known now since the movie came out, but one of the lesser known heroes from the civil rights movement, Annie Lee Wilkerson Cooper, who was born in Selma in 1910, born to a rather large family, right? Dropped out of high school and moved out of Alabama to stay with some of her siblings, and eventually moved back to Selma to take care of her mother, who was elderly and then sick, and found out that despite the fact that she was registered to vote in Ohio and I believe it was Pennsylvania, could not register in Alabama, right? So this kind of spurred her into joining the civil rights movement. At the time, and she went to get registered in 1963, failed, and actually lost her job as a nurse because of it. And so started having to work at a hotel, but stayed connected with the movement. Went to register again in 1965, and if you don't know, 1965 is when the Selma marches happened, which eventually led to the passage of the Voting Rights Act. But in 1965, she went to the Dallas County Courthouse to get registered to vote. And a sheriff at the time, it was Jim, hold on, I have his name here, Jim Clark, came up behind her and started kind of prodding her with his nightstick or the billy club in the back of her neck. And Annie Lee turned around and punched him in the mouth and put him down. Obviously, Jim's friends had to jump in at that point and rescue him. So Annie Lee was arrested, spent about 11 hours in jail before she got bailed out. They said there were some in the community who wanted to charge her with attempted murder. Like Jim Clark was Chris Rock getting slapped on the Oscar stage. She could have killed him, but no.
He could have died.
But just another example of people at the time kind of really standing up for themselves and their rights, and having to fight through honestly a lot worse than we have to deal with now. It kind of always stuck out to me because you've seen those shirts, like the t-shirts and whatnot, say, "Oh, I'm not my ancestors." Like, no, your grandparents were much tougher than you.
Much.
Yes. So,
much.
Annie Lee Wilkerson Cooper, civil rights activist and apparently heavyweight champion of the world, who wanted to
with superhuman strength.
Celebrate her story. Played by Oprah in the 2014 film Selma.
The original Wonder Woman.
Yes.
All right. Hey, we got 80 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. And yes, hit the like button. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. All right. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. So all those places, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. What's going on, Sharon? Sharon says, hello, Jose and Brodny. No, Lamar is coming to San Francisco 49ers. Sorry, Brodny. People in San Francisco want the GM to go after Lamar.
Yeah, well, Lamar wants his check before May. So
and shout out to
Carolina.
Raven C. What's going on, Raven C? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. All right. And Goldman says, ate some wings, rice, peas, and corn with butter. Now watching LBHT. Life is good.
Yes. Thank you for coming through, Goldman.
All right, listen. They trying to hold your boy Lamar back. All right. You guys know what it is by now. Lamar has been slapped with the non-exclusive franchise tag. And immediately after getting tagged, bunch of teams said, we don't want it. We don't want Lamar. No. We're not interested in Lamar. What were you laughing at? Just Al says, contrary to popular belief, I was too young for the Selma march.
Nobody believe that, Just Al. and thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution. So, a few teams immediately came out after the news that he was being tagged to let people know, to leak out, because there was no official statement. We have no interest in signing Lamar, including your Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, it was essentially a list of people who are definitely going to try and sign Lamar Jackson in a week. It was the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the Miami Dolphins, the Raiders, and then not the Raiders. And who am I missing? There was another team, Washington. So the who's who of teams with garbage quarterback situations who definitely need to call Lamar and make an offer. And it's just hilarious to me that the owners are so out of touch with sports fans and modern sports fans that they thought that, oh man, if we all come out at the exact same time right after he gets tagged and say we're not interested, everybody will think nobody wants to sign Lamar. And everybody said, why are you colluding against Lamar Jackson? Right? Because how could you possibly know that you're not interested when you're not even allowed to talk to him until next Monday afternoon? You don't even know what he's asking for.
Right. And look, okay, let's break this down a couple ways. First of all, if you think, think about all the Ravens fans that are saying, if Lamar's out, I'm out. Mm-hmm. Imagine being a fan of one of these teams that they haven't won in a while. It's not just that they don't have a quarterback. They haven't been doing a whole lot of winning. And there's an opportunity to get somebody like Lamar Jackson. And your franchise says, no, not interested. There's absolutely no reason to not be in on them. Right. And they're just like, no, we're not even going to talk to them. Nah, sorry. Nah, don't buy it. Right. That fan base isn't going to buy it. And this is still a business, right? They're in the business of sales. They're trying to sell tickets. They're trying to sell merchandise. They're not going to just turn that cash cow away. Shout out to Marco G for the 333 says, I think it definitely is head scratching how every QB needy team suddenly isn't interested in Lamar Jackson. But I also think giving up 2 first-round picks and giving out a possibly fully guaranteed deal is a huge investment that teams may not want to risk. So I'm gonna tell you this. Wasn't a problem last year.
Was not a problem at all last year with Deshaun Jackson and for a few of those teams who said they're not in on Lamar Jackson. And specifically with Carolina, right now, a few sports books have them as the odds-on favorite to make the number 1 pick, meaning they trade up from 9 to number 1, which means you're going to give up at least 3 first-round picks plus other picks to move up for the right to take either Kyler Murray's cousin or the Buckeye quarterback who they've never had a quarterback succeed in the NFL, or Cam Light, better athlete, can't throw. Like that's kind of who you're looking at the top of the draft right there. Like, and obviously, you know, any of those guys could work out. I'm a big fan of Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and I like Anthony Richardson despite his on-field performance. But you're talking about giving up more for the right to draft one of them and give them several years to see if they pan out than to just take your 2 first-round picks and get somebody who you know is not only has been a successful quarterback, not just a good quarterback, but somebody who has played at the absolute peak of the NFL. He was better than everyone else in the league at one point, right? And to say, hey, you know, giving up the picks plus the contract is a lot. Sure, it is. You have to pay for sure things. Like Baltimore knows with Roquan Smith, right? They used a first and a third on Patrick Queen and Harrison, Malik Harrison, to fix their inside linebacker situation. That was a gamble. You know, first and a third it's a heavy price to pay, right? Didn't work. And so now they had to trade a 2nd-round pick and then give out the biggest contract in history to an off-ball linebacker to fix that situation. But they did it. They did it because they know that they failed at trying the draft way. And now they have to just get it done. Same thing with Carolina. You tried Teddy Bridgewater. You tried Baker Mayfield. You tried Sam Darnold. You tried to get Matt Stafford. You talked to Derek Carr. You talked to Mitchell Trubisky. You drafted Matt Corral. And none of it worked. So now you have to pay the price.
Yeah. The teams value potential more than actual talent, because that's all it is. That's all those first round picks are, potential. You don't know what they're going to turn into. So saying, oh, I don't know if I want to give up 2 first round picks and pay this star player that I know can play. He's already been an MVP and he did it with nothing around him, right? But let's see if Anthony Richardson, who you know at the very least needs some development. Yeah. Let's see if we can trade up, get him, and hopefully he can turn into Lamar Jackson, right? Because that's the other thing too. You get somebody, okay, the ceiling hopefully is Lamar Jackson if things turn out great, but in reality they won't be Lamar Jackson. Shout out to Anonymous for a $10 donation. What's that say, B?
I'm sorry, that wasn't from Anonymous. That was from Tracy.
Shout out to Tracy.
H. I apologize. That says these NFL players taking notes on how LJ is treated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of players speaking out on what these teams have been saying and how quickly everybody's coming out to say that they're not interested in Lamar Jackson. And to your point, yeah, they do value potential more. And to be honest, they value cheap players because they don't want to pay anybody. But it's like that episode of Family Guy where, you know, they go and they're at one of those little seminars and, hey, you sit through the whole thing and we'll give you a boat. Mm-hmm. And they get to the end and the guy's like, yeah, you can have the boat. The boat's out there, but you could also have this mystery box. He takes a shoebox with a bunch of question marks and he puts it on the table. And, you know, Peter's wife is like, we'll take the boat. This is stupid. And he's like, wait a minute now. It's like, the boat's a boat, but this mystery box could be anything, even a boat, right? And that's what NFL teams honestly think. Yeah. Like you said, you're taking Stroud or Richardson or somebody with the hopes that someday they could be close to as good as you know Lamar Jackson is.
Yeah. Shout out to Raven Ron for the $1 donation. Appreciate you. Says, I do blame EDC for much of this Lamar no deal, but how much of this is on Lamar? Lamar ain't perfect. None of it's on Lamar. This is a negotiation. Why is it on Lamar? Lamar set a price, right? And either you want to pay him or you don't want to pay him, right? The Ravens are the one dragging this out. If they want to put the non-exclusive tag on him, right? If you're so certain that you have the best deal, let him go into free agency and let teams bid on him. Why put the tag at all? Right? That's why I don't believe all this talk about, oh, well, you know, teams aren't interested and, oh, the Ravens are winning. If they were winning, they would say, go ahead, no tag. See if anybody offers you something. But they know, even among owners agreeing, right? Agreeing, hey, no, we're not going to touch your guy. We're not going to spend more than this amount. Owners are cutthroat. Okay. They're trying to win too. And when Monday comes they're gonna be like, hey man, we gave you a chance. You ain't signed your guy. I gotta do what I gotta do. I got a team to run here.
And look, we talk about blaming Bisciotti, blaming EDC, and that comes from the perspective of as fans, you look at it and say you can't let Lamar Jackson go. He's too good of a player for you to let walk. But again, the reality is it's not anybody's fault. Neither one of them is to blame. Lamar has his number, Baltimore has their number, and the numbers don't match. So it's like, we talked about it before. I'm like, why isn't anybody out here saying who we're going to blame when Ben Powers leaves? Because he wants more money than Baltimore is going to be willing to pay him. No, right. Nobody's going to blame anybody. They're going to say, hey, he just wants more. He's going to go into free agency and get more, right? And that goes with any other player, right? Hey, they have their number, and Baltimore famously is a right player, right price. We're not going over the number that we have for you. And if those numbers don't match, then they don't match. You don't get a deal done, and they go play somewhere else. It's only a thing because he's Lamar Jackson, because he's 26 years old, because he's a former MVP, because he plays the most important position in the league, and the Ravens aren't willing to match his number, but aren't willing to let him go.
Yeah, the fault that you find is that I'm a Ravens fan. He plays for my team, and I want him here. And why can't he just take a deal that the Ravens are offering? Because he can do better than that. That's the answer. And shout out to Hendo from Ravens Online Ungatekeeper says, you want me to be the face of your franchise, your leading passer and leading rusher. Yep. But want to shortchange me on what I deserve. Make it make sense. That's the other thing too. Like not just that, yards from scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Yards from scrimmage. So he's leading in everything. What is your offense doing?
And the argument that he should take a team-friendly deal, take less for the team, is complete nonsense, because you've seen what Baltimore does when Lamar Jackson is underpaid. He's been underpaid for 5 years, and they've done nothing to build up the offense around him. Absolutely nothing.
That's why I'm not a fan of that whole, the best move is to get a quarterback on a rookie deal and then build around them, because you have teams that mismanage that.
Well, yeah, and that's a joke. You hear people say, "Oh, yeah, that's it's so valuable to have a quarterback on a rookie deal." No, it isn't. It's valuable to have a great quarterback on a rookie deal, because otherwise you're still not going to win anything, right? There's plenty of quarterbacks around the league on rookie deals who haven't come close to competing. One of them was Daniel Jones. He just got his non-rookie deal, right? But what did they win when he was on his rookie deal? Why are the Jets talking about bringing in Aaron Rodgers or maybe Lamar Jackson? They have a quarterback on his rookie deal. It's so valuable, right? Why don't they just keep building around Zach Wilson? It's because having a quarterback on his rookie deal doesn't mean anything. It's about having a great player and trying to build up around him and win before you have to pay him, while the CBA is still, keeping their salary down on those mandated rookie deals that just came into existence 11 years ago or 12 years ago.
Yeah. You know what else you can do? You can pay your quarterback and do your job drafting talent around him. You can do that too. It's great having wide receivers on rookie deals.
Yeah.
Right. That's great too. You can do that, right? Why does it have to be centered around the quarterback?
I mean, wide receivers are almost making as much as quarterbacks now.
Facts.
Some of them.
Tyreek Hill is.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all forgot about that.
Adams.
Yeah, it's funny how people forget about that, right? Because they're that great. You're just like, I don't know what he costs, but he's on my team. So there's all kinds of ways you can build a team, but that whole narrative, no, I'm not buying it, and you guys don't buy it either. And then and fans aren't going to buy it next year when Joe Burrow comes up for a deal and Justin Herbert comes up for a deal. That talking point is going to go right out the window. Right. Nobody's gonna hear about that. Speaking of B, okay, I told you Lamar Jackson hit me up. Okay. He was like, hey man, he's been calling me crying and whatnot, saying this whole collusion thing wasn't his idea. It was all Steve Bisciotti and the owners and all that. And they, he's outside right now asking if we can come in. I'm like, no. I'm about to call cops. Like, what should I do in this situation? Because he is a little ticked off about this, right? He's pretty level-headed, but he's like, this is a little irritating, right? These teams don't want to talk to me. They saying they're not interested in me. How should I handle that? No worries, right? As you recall, a couple weeks ago, I reminded you guys that Lamar Jackson is not under contract, and even now when he's tagged, he is still not under contract. Okay, if the owners want to come together and show some unison, right? Show a united front saying, we are not going to bench you players. We're not going to give you what you want. Okay, we'll see how long you stay united, right? Because my take on this is the reason why they wanted to fly out to Miami, the Ravens, to go see Lamar right before franchise deadline is because they knew this is going to happen. They knew that these teams were going to, because this is all coordinated, and they wanted to be there right when it happens so they can say, you see, look, we're trying to treat you fair, right? We're not trying to lowball you. We're trying to be fair. Listen, we'll give you a couple more dollars, right? We'll give you a few more million. All right, let's get this done now, man. Let's not even go through all this drama. You see how they're treating you. They're disrespecting you. We're showing you respect, right? And they're hoping that works. But all Lamar needs to do is say, I'll see you on Monday. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to you on Monday. In fact, I'll let you call 30 minutes before everybody else. Okay. We'll see how united they are come Monday, because once that tampering period happens, these owners do not trust each other, because you have the Daniel Snyders of the world. Daniel Snyder's not gone. You ousted Daniel Snyder, but he's not gone. He might just say, screw y'all. You have owners that haven't said anything. Yeah, you had 5 teams out there. One already backed out. The Raiders already backed out and said, nah, we're just kidding. We're going to talk to him, right? You have Robert Kraft. He ain't say anything. Mm-hmm. You got the Jets owner. He didn't say anything, right? I mean, Sharon mentioned San Francisco. They didn't say anything. There are a bunch of teams out there that just like, okay.
Yeah, Detroit didn't say anything either.
Detroit didn't say anything.
Ron, I hate to break this to you. Raven Ron says, okay, then pay Lamar, then cut these vets and better be great in this draft. First of all, your veterans are absolute garbage. So I'm not sure what kind of, what that even means. But second, go look at their cap space over the next few years. They don't have to cut anybody to sign Lamar to the deal he wants. They have a ton of cap space coming up over the next couple of years. So that's a lie that the organization is telling you. They don't have to cut anybody to sign Lamar, and they'll have to, and they fill in around him.
This goes back to our point earlier. They did such a bad job building this team. Mm-hmm. I want them to sign Lamar and cut those people. Even if we have all the money in the world, they're not good enough.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't want Lamar. Listen, that has to happen. If you're investing that much in Lamar, right? Now the game's over. Now you have to put some weapons around him. Might have to cut from the defense, right? That's fine. I'm fine with that. But cutting some of these veterans, like who do you think needs to stay here? B gave you a list about a month ago of upcoming free agents. I didn't hear one name on there that we had to keep. Well, the only one was Lamar. That's what we're talking about right now. Hold on, let me read this from Marco G real quick. Shout out to Marco G. Appreciate you for the $2 donation. It says, if Daniel Jones gets $160 million for pretty much one season while having an agent, no reason LJ with an agent couldn't strike a massive deal. I think it's easier for non-QBs to represent themselves than for a QB, which is the most important position. It's not listen. He's doing just fine. We all feel uncomfortable about it because it's playing out in real time. Lamar doesn't need an agent to do what he's doing, and he is winning. It looks like he's not winning right now because a couple of tweets went out, but we'll find out once the tampering period starts who's really winning. All he's done is make himself more money by just being patient. And furthermore, let's say Monday comes and they still hold a united front. Let's say Monday comes and they say, "Oh no, we're not going to offer you that much, Lamar. We're not going to give you more than the Ravens." Right? Okay. Now I'll wait until after the draft. Okay? I'm not going to talk to the Ravens Don't call me after the draft. My phone line's open. The teams that didn't get the quarterback that they wanted, the teams that are still looking. Now let's see if you're ready to talk. If they're not ready to talk, okay, well, July is like July 15th or whatever. That's the cutoff date to get a deal done. We don't get a deal done. All right, I guess I have to play this year on the franchise tag, but I don't have to sign the tag until week 7 of the season. So I'll take my time. Maybe I'll show up week 1. Maybe I'll show up week 4. Maybe I'll show up week 7. I'll see you when I see you. And let the Ravens figure out that mess. Let them go 5 or 6 weeks catching L's, playing ugly football, having to answer questions every week. When's Lamar coming? Right? And see if they like that. And then Lamar comes, plays out the rest of the season. Hey, maybe he gets dinged up again. Hey, I am injury prone. I had this thing with my toe earlier, man. I don't know if I can go. Oh, we need this win to get into the playoffs. Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Right. I'll see you in the offseason. You want to try this again? Right.
And this is why it's ultimately the Ravens' fault, right? Because like you're using this as a last ditch effort to not have to not lose Lamar, right? And not have to pay him what he wants. You're trying to say, hey, you can go ahead and read the
shout out to Keelan Johnson for the $2 donation. Says those teams who said they're not in on Lamar had to say that on day 1 because it would be tampering if they said they want him. It's why Diana Rossini went on ESPN and said those teams are out for right now. At that moment. Yes. Monday, LJ's phone will be active. We all know that.
Yeah, it was, like I said earlier, it was a list of teams who are definitely going to call him on Monday. But no, they're trying they're making a desperate attempt to get him at their number and not lose him, right? But and like I said, this is why I say it's on the Ravens why this keeps dragging out like this, because you don't want to pay him. And if you don't want to pay him, what you're saying is we don't believe you're worth what you think you're worth. We don't believe in you as a quarterback. Then move on. You could have gotten a much better deal than 2 first-round picks. If you had just put the exclusive franchise tag on them and worked on the trade, you'd get a lot more than what you're looking at right now, right? But they're so desperate to have their cake and eat it too, right? They want to say, hey, yeah, you're not a 200 million guaranteed player, you're not a 230 million guaranteed player, whatever the number is, but you're still our player. Well, no, he's not. Yeah. He's going to go to the team who pays him what he wants. And now, because they took this route, Baltimore is going to get less in return, most likely. I mean, they can still work out a trade with whoever actually signs Lamar to an offer sheet. But if I'm that team, I'm not giving you more than 2 firsts.
Right. Yeah, because they don't have to. There are teams that nobody wants to pay the Deshaun Watson deal, which I don't even believe that. Right. I think some of these owners do not care. I think David Tepper is one of those owners.
Well, look, nobody wants to pay it.
Right.
But it's not about what you want. Nobody wanted to pay Tyreek Hill $30+ million, but somebody did, right? Because they wanted Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think some of these owners will be fine with it, I should say. Right. I think David Tepper. Look, so last year, right? Because this gets lost. Everybody's saying, only the Browns would pay that kind of money to Deshaun Watson. But there were like 3 or 4 teams that got real close to that number. Right? What did the Panthers offer? What because they were close to getting Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
what made it fall apart?
The offer wasn't any different. It was just that they didn't want to guarantee the final year of the deal. So they guaranteed 4 years fully instead of all 5. I believe is what kind of eventually what ultimately had them out.
So they offered about 180, 190 guaranteed.
Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't, they never put out the specific number, but that's, essentially what it was, because it was reported as basically the same contract, and they just didn't want to guarantee the final year.
That is very close. And it's a lot more than what the Ravens are trying to offer him right now, reportedly, right? That is very close. And that is a guy that everybody knew has some off the field issues, to say the least, and just for the simple fact that he hadn't played in a while, right? And he's probably going to get suspended the upcoming season. That's these teams knowing that, and they were still making offers. Shout out to Keelan for another donation, man. Appreciate you. Says that united front, quote unquote, will end as soon as Lamar tells other teams he doesn't care about a fully guaranteed deal and only wanted that deal from the Ravens because of failed promises and lies from the organization. Ravens can match, but Lamar can force his way out. Absolutely.
And listen, there's one report essentially saying that he asked for a fully guaranteed deal, and there's another report saying that they never asked for a fully guaranteed deal. So we don't know what he's actually looking for.
Right. Yeah. So and maybe he wanted a fully guaranteed deal, just like Keelan said, and then when he goes talk to the other team and says, "No, I don't want a fully guaranteed deal."
Right.
Oh, well, what are we talking about then? Yeah, pay the man. Okay. If it's fully guaranteed, that's, okay, maybe some teams shy away from that. I still think there's some teams that be like, all right, man, just give it to him.
Yeah.
But if it's not, I think there'll be a lot of teams that'll be willing to pay him the 240 mil guaranteed. It'll be a bigger contract. It just won't be fully guaranteed, but the guaranteed money will be right there with Deshaun Watson. And that's something that the Ravens don't want to pay, which is stupid. The Ravens, this goes back to Ozzie Newsome. The Ravens have always, they've always miscalculated the market. On offense, at least on offense. They've always miscalculated the market. They don't know where players are going to go in the draft when it comes to offense. They don't know how much a player is going to go for when it comes to free agency. And they're always taken by surprise how much it's going to cost to get an offensive player. And I could buy into if these teams kept their mouth shut and weren't sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, we're not interested," right? I could have bought into the idea that, hey, because we're bad at this, we just want to see what these teams offer. It doesn't matter, but we need to know, because we don't want to offer them something and other teams like, "Oh, I want to pay that," right? I'd rather teams go make an offer, even if it's ridiculous. It doesn't matter. We'll pay it, and we'll match it. But we want to make sure that we didn't leave some money on the table.
You don't want to be like the Raiders with Max Crosby when he got that $25 million a year, and everybody's like, "Woo!" I'll go pay Hassan Reddick 17.
Right. I think they were probably been willing to pay. Well, at least I would have thought before this clear collusion was going on that might have been the play. But this right here tells me that they were in on this whole thing, right? And if I'm Lamar, and you said it, B, if I'm Lamar, I'm doing business with every team except the Ravens. I'm just being real about it, man. Like, the Ravens are my team, but screw them, right? You can't. This is the easiest layup in the world, signing your quarterback. That's the easiest thing to get done. You had 2 years to do it, and all you done was make it worse and worse and worse. I wouldn't be talking to them.
Go man got jokes in the chat there.
Let's go, man. He said, "Don't sleep on Pro Bowl QB Tyler Huntley."
He said teams need to be negotiating for Huntley.
Let's read a couple of these comments, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Enzo G Hub, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. Marco G says Ravens are like that crazy girlfriend or boyfriend who wants to be with the partner but also wants a breakup. Yeah. Eva Lamar, what's going on? Says I wouldn't play for Harbaugh anymore. Anyway, dude stealing money. Yeah. Ravens fans want to be mad at anyone, be mad at him. Be mad at the whole organization. Right? Yeah. But right now, you got to be mad at Steve Bisciotti because he's clearly, he's an owner. And this is at the top, right? These are the owners trying to keep this money down. And what's crazy about this isn't their money. This is the players' money. Right? They don't want to pay, they don't want to pay what's owed to them, what's owed to the players out of their pool. What else we got here? Danny says, "Oh my God, almost yes, 140 in the chat. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here. Kings and queens, indeed."
Marcus McClendon saying, actually, hold up, that's not even the one I was trying to click on. There we go. Marcus saying, ideally, Lamar gets the highest contract possible somewhere. The Ravens match, and everybody's happy. Everyone is not happy in that situation, Marcus. That scenario leaves the Carolina Panthers very unhappy. I don't appreciate you putting that out there.
Okay? Now, I do want to take a minute to talk about the Panthers, right? Because we don't like that comment, right? Just as a fan of Lamar, we don't like that they're out there saying, hey, yeah, sure, we'll talk to him, but we don't have any real interest in him. Yeah. Now, as a Panthers fan, what are you talking about? Like, that's stupid. You went through all these bad quarterbacks for years, and a quarterback that there's no questions about, right? You know what he is. You know he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. You're not interested? So you have to ask, are you really trying to win? If that's really true.
Right. And, like I said, this is all it has all been, like I said, orchestrated, and it's for show. All these teams coming out and saying we're not really interested, but Carolina and their current GM Scott Fitterer and their current owner David Tepper have shown just remarkably poor decision making when it comes to the quarterback position. They traded. I mean, I laugh at Baltimore for trading a second-round pick for Roquan Smith because he plays middle linebacker. It's not that important a position. And now that second-round pick could have gone to DeAndre Hopkins, but, they don't have it anymore. Carolina traded a second-round pick for Sam Darnold.
Yes.
That's him plus a couple other day 3 picks. Like, that's awful decision-making. CJ Henderson went in the top 10 to Jacksonville. After 8 games, they said, this dude ain't it. Get him the hell out of here. And Carolina said, we'll give you a third. They went and traded for Baker Mayfield when absolutely no, like, you want to talk about a person who didn't have a market. Nobody wanted Baker Mayfield. And Carolina stepped up and said, we'll bring you in.
Well, you not only did you trade for Sandow, you picked up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, immediately.
That's $20 million.
Hey, it was 18. All right, it was 18. They went in the draft where they drafted Matt Corral in the 3rd round with no intention of playing him. So, and with Frank Reich in Indianapolis, his 5 years there, he had Andrew Luck. Obviously, they drafted him number 1 overall. He's a very good player. So that, that's cool. But after Andrew Luck left, he had Phillip Rivers, he had Matt Ryan, and he had Carson Wentz. And now, he comes to Carolina and he was pushing for them to go and sign Derek Carr. And so I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, you all have just made poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. And if you do take those 3 first-round picks plus other picks and move up to number 1, I'm not confident at all that you won't take Levis. Like, I don't know what you're gonna what we're gonna walk away with at that point.
Yeah.
So when you've proven to make bad decisions over and over and over, this is like what we say with the Ravens all the time, right? You keep drafting wide receivers and you keep failing at it. Stop drafting them. Go get somebody you know can play. So when you keep on bringing in these quarterbacks and saying we can turn them around, we can turn them around, we can turn them around, and you can't, go get somebody who you know can play. Go get Lamar.
Facts. Shout out to Anonymous for a $2 donation. Appreciate you. Says Lamar says you can match the deal, but I will not show up. I won't play, and I will refuse to sign the offer. I don't want to be here anymore. So take your 2 first-round picks and let me start my new chapter. You don't want a QB that feels like a hostage and is mad. Okay, yes. Now, to be fair, like, we're expressing our feelings about it, right? We don't know how Lamar really feels, right? Because look, Lamar doesn't have to do anything. Like I said, like the response to Lamar is see you Monday, right? We'll find out for sure on Monday how united these teams are. Owners aren't that united,
no.
Right? We'll find out. We'll find out if they stick to their guns. And you just tell the Ravens, you tell EDC and all of them, hey, no, you can't come to my house. We'll talk. We'll talk next week, right? We'll talk next week, and we'll see if teams are really going to hold up. And the worst case scenario is Lamar plays on a franchise deal, a lower franchise deal, right? but he's still getting about $30 million, and he plays the season, comes out healthy, and we do this again next year. But now all the pressure is on not just the Ravens, but other teams, because you have to pay. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. Coach was in there saying what he feels about Will Levis. And Raven Ron responded, Levis is better at his position than Prochet is at his. And Coach didn't appreciate that.
We don't know.
I think we know.
Wait, which position? Wide receiver or quarterback?
Or assistant coach, right? Now, if it's assistant coach, then I don't know.
Yeah.
James seems to be doing a pretty good job there. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
I think we had a really good question coming in here through Cash App. Want to have y'all answer this in the chat as well. But the question is, greatest chance by team that Lamar Jackson is starting for in 2023. So, like, give me your top 3 teams by odds of who you think Lamar Jackson is going to be playing for next year.
Atlanta,
Panthers. All
the teams that said they're not in on it. You know why it'll be them? Because look how disorganized they are, right? Mm-hmm. Like the owners probably called them up and said, "Stupid. We didn't say all at once." right after he gets tagged, you had to drag it out. Like,
Bashadi was in his office like, oh my god,
yeah,
goddamn morons,
yeah,
get him back on the phone.
Like, my bad, right? And then come Monday, they're gonna forget that this whole conversation even happened. They're gonna be like, hey, how much you want?
Oh, they don't forget. They told him that was a 1 week thing. They say you better handle your business in the next week.
So no, okay. Look, honestly, I think I'm not sure. I think Tepper is definitely in the mix, right? Because he was so close to getting Deshaun Watson, and that's the one thing that he's made clear.
And it was. I mean, look, Deshaun didn't play great, and Deshaun is what he is, but it obviously didn't work for the Panthers. Right.
He said when he took over the team, he wanted to make a splash at QB.
Yeah.
He wanted to get Rodgers. He wanted to get Matt Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He tried extremely hard to get Deshaun Watson. He made it known the year before that he wanted Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
Right. And they were 1 guaranteed year off from getting Deshaun Watson. Okay. He doesn't want to strike out again. He's not going to sit there and just let Lamar Jackson just, like not even try. Hell no.
Especially when you know the Falcons are going to be making that call.
All right,
I'm going to go to Atlanta.
I'm going to read this in a second, but I think the Patriots for sure, right? Because the Patriots, again, they don't care what anybody else thinks. They're about winning.
Yeah.
And they desperately want to win. So Patriots, Panthers, and the Jets. The Jets have made it clear too.
Yep. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up in New York. I think that's their guy. I think they're focused in on that now. I think they're going to get him. So for Lamar, I think I'm going to say Falcons. I'm going to say Carolina, and I'm going to say the Patriots, with Baltimore being a 4th. I think there is a chance that Baltimore matches whatever deal that he signs to keep him there.
Yeah.
Because they're just, they are desperate to not have him leave. But I don't think they're the front runners at this point.
Yeah.
I think that Lamar is going to intentionally try to negotiate a deal that he knows the Ravens can't or won't match.
Yeah. Shout out to Keelan for another donation. Appreciate you guys. Says, what's even worse about the Panthers trying to do that, we're interested but not really talk, is that Frank Reich was in the presence of the opposing sideline when Lamar had one of the greatest games in NFL history. Yeah. He knows firsthand what Lamar will do. That's a fact, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Yeah, it's a bad, and if Lamar, here's the other thing too. This is why Tepper should have not been involved in that, right? Because if a bunch of teams do call Lamar like we expect, Lamar could easily be like, Panthers, Falcons, Raiders, you're out.
Yeah.
Like you said you weren't interested. You didn't even want.
Hey,
wait 5 minutes.
the Raiders walked that back.
They want that back real quick. They're like, I'm scared. I'm sorry. I lied, y'all.
They ain't got the money to sign him though. So,
but shout out to Shannon Porter. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. Yeah, I that's the only thing. If Lamar wanted to be petty, he can just be like, hey, my phone's ringing off the hook and I need to cut down this list. The 3 that said you were out, you're out. Commanders, you're out. Right. And yes, I do feel like I think the Ravens' plan was this collusion will work, the price will remain low, and we can get a deal done. Even if another team kind of goes off script a little bit and offers a little bit more, we can handle that. But I think a bunch of teams, because once a team feels like they can get him, that's when the bidding war happens. That's all that happened with Deshaun Watson last year, right? Because they were out. Deshaun Watson told them, guys, you're out of this. It's narrowed down to Atlanta and the Panthers, right? And the Browns said, no, man, we need Deshaun Watson. Like, we need some stability here. We can't wait any longer. So, yeah, look, the Falcons on another one. They were close. These teams that were close to getting a top-tier quarterback last year aren't going to just all of a sudden be like, nah, actually, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to build through the draft. We haven't been competitive in 8 years. But let's build it through the draft.
I gotta say, I'm feeling the love. I'm seeing a lot of Panthers answers in the chat, and I love it. Not as many as there should be, but that's okay. It's a work in progress. I've seen a lot of 49ers, a lot of Patriots.
Yeah, this is my thing right here. One section says it. Patriots and Belichick already scheming. They don't play fair. They play dirty. That organization would absolutely say, yeah, man, we're in with you guys. We will not offer him anything more than $150 million guaranteed. And come Monday at 12 a.m. in 30 seconds, they will say, yo, hey boss, we got $250 million fully guaranteed. What's up? They will absolutely do that. Yeah.
Belichick brought that Brian Flores lawsuit down on the league for fun. For funsies.
He got nothing out of that. Whoops, Ron Bryan.
I mean, they're I know that one is fat and white, and the other is very in shape and black, but they're both bald. They're both Bryan.
I don't have your last names on here. It's just all Bryan. I thought I had your numbers memorized. I was wrong. Whoops.
I almost sent it to Brian Greasy. I don't know. I don't know how Snapface works.
Snap, crackle, pop. Be the change you wish to see. Says Miami and Atlanta need Lamar to fill the stadium and seem foolish strictly on the business side. Yeah, look, they're another team. Miami's another team. They've been trying to upgrade from Tua, right? They've been trying to do that. So don't believe that either. Okay, there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to, once they hear that one team broke the code, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're calling? Well, I want to call then.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, they're offering how much? Well, I want to offer that much. Right? It's going to happen. Lamar just needs to sit back and wait. I don't buy this for 1 second. These owners cannot be trusted amongst each other. Marcus McClendon says, highly doubt Belichick would copy the Browns business model, but crazier things have happened. Why wouldn't he?
Bill Belichick is on record for years and years as loving and wanting a mobile quarterback. He loved Cam, and that's how Cam ended up in New England in his last couple of years. He wants, because Cam always destroyed New England's defenses, always. And Bill Belichick has always had problems defending mobile quarterbacks, so he's always wanted one of his own because he had Tom Brady who can't move at all.
Right.
And so he's been looking for that. I mean, that he had a lesser version of that with Jacoby Brissett, but he wants that elite dynamic quarterback like a Cam in his prime, like Lamar Jackson is right now. So I think they'll absolutely go after Lamar Jackson and at least make the attempt to get him to New England.
Agent E says, I will be pissed if Lamar does go to the 49ers because he doesn't need to be a Niner. Listen, at this point, I'll be happy that he goes to another team because the Ravens deserve to suffer. I'm sorry. I'm saying that as a Ravens fan. They deserve what not Ravens fans don't deserve to suffer. The organization deserves to suffer. You can't be this bad at your job, right? The only place I refuse to watch them is Washington.
I'll be watching Washington, man. They got the receivers. That's gonna be a fun offense.
They got Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy. My guy Ron. I tell you, yeah, he gonna sign there, and Ron getting his 3rd Coach of the Year award.
What's up? Attitude Pop says Miami should pursue Lamar. They are stupid if they don't. I love Tua, but Lamar is on a different level when healthy. If Lamar's on Miami, they're winning it all. The Jets too.
The problem for Miami is they can't make an offer until after the draft. So Lamar may already be signed before they're even allowed to enter the arena.
Yeah. I just look. What's going on, Living Legend? Appreciate you coming through. Okay. We'll discuss a little bit more. We purposely cleaned the slate a little bit to allow some time to talk Lamar Jackson, but there are some NBA stories that we want to discuss. 2 in particular. Okay. One is about the MVP debate. Is the voting racially biased? Okay. The other is as Coach will call him, Ja Wick, Big Ja Wick. Okay, showing you that he ain't no punk. Okay, holding up his gun in the club. All right, we're gonna discuss that.
You don't care how old you are.
Shout out to Keelan for the $2 donation. Says, and the truth is, Levis and Richardson are not good QB prospects and will get a GM fired. Wow, they can't even throw out routes accurately, and AR can't throw screens and short passes. QB's not getting 3 years to develop now. Gotta make huge jumps by year 2 or else. Look, it's possible because look, I mean, Josh Allen made that leap, right? Mm-hmm. Josh Allen couldn't do a lot of things coming into the league, and his first year he was awful.
Yep.
But when you fully commit to a quarterback and you get him some help, right, and you coach him up, right, a lot of good things can happen. And I get the temptation with AR-15. I get it. I mean, he's a freak athlete, and he didn't do a bad job throwing the ball at the combine. Wasn't the best, but wasn't bad.
He was fine. The problem with Anthony Richardson is, and Doug Farr had kind of thank you for the donation, DDSQ. He says that I'm sick of the media slamming the Browns for Watson's money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the other quarterbacks aren't far off of what Watson got already. So I don't know why they keep trying to hold that. I mean, it's because it's because it's fully guaranteed is the only reason. But that 230 is going to look like a bargain soon enough. But yeah, the thing with Anthony Richardson, and Doug Farr kind of pointed this out, like he made huge strides from the beginning of the season to the end of the season because he has no experience. You know, most quarterbacks come in having thrown the ball a ton in college, you know, a lot of attempts. And this is something that Bill Parcells always looked for in a quarterback. He said he wanted a guy who had been a starter for 3 years because you have all those reps that you've gone through and you've done your development and you've learned and you've played in all these different situations. And Anthony Richardson only has about 400 pass attempts, I believe it is, or under 400. So he has next to no experience. He has all of the physical tools. So what, you know, him being a good or bad prospect essentially comes down to what his work ethic is and the environment that he goes to. Because, yeah, if you go to somewhere, and I'm just going to use Carolina as an example because it seems like they've built a coaching staff specifically to develop a young quarterback. If he goes to Carolina and they say, hey, you know, we're going to give you the 2 years or whatever it takes, then he can be a great quarterback, right? Once they train him properly. If he goes somewhere, you know, another team that's less patient, less prepared, yeah, he could wash out of the league really quickly. But he has all of the physical ability. He could make all of the throws. It's about doing it consistently, and to do it consistently, you just have to have repetition.
Yeah. All right, 125 people in here. Go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get those likes up, people. And if you're new,
exactly what Anand saying here, Richardson with great coaching and environment equals sky is the limit for him.
Yeah. Yes. Hit the like button. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Look, I just want to say, look, appreciate you guys coming through here. Appreciate it. A lot going on in the chat. We expected that today. We try to read as many comments as we can. Obviously, we can't read every single comment. That's why if you're looking for the super chat, we do super chat a little differently over here. Okay. Right below B, $ LBHT show. That is the Cash App. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our stream elements. Both ways, you leave a donation, leave your comment, you get a nice little animation right here. Microphone Man will give you the raised fist and salute. Okay. Also, patreon.com/ right there, LBHT show. All right. We have a Discord for as little as $3 a month. And actually, it's a one-time fee. We don't kick anybody out. If you cancel later, you're still part of the community. But for as little as $3 a month, you can join our community. We have a Discord in there. So if you feel like you're not being heard in the chat, and you want to continue this conversation, especially when we switch topics here pretty soon, you can go to our Discord, and that thing is going 24/7. There's all kinds of great conversations, great topics in there. So make sure you sign up. And shout out to KP for another donation. What did I say, B?
He said Anthony Richardson equals Malik Willis. I don't agree. I think he's a much better prospect than Malik Willis. I think he has a much higher ceiling than Malik Willis. He's lacking in the experience.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back to what E said up here, man. I saw your comment, E. Basically said one of our friends, our good friends, LA, he is a Washington Commanders fan. And he said if Lamar went to Washington, we wouldn't hear the end of it, which is true, which is why that's the one place I could not bear for him to go. And a lot of fans in this area, if you're a Ravens fan, you're not from the area, right? Baltimore and DC, that's a big rivalry. And you work with fans of each team, right? You talk trash, right? They're about 45 minutes apart from each other, the cities. Mm-hmm. Even those diehard Ravens fans, those I'm a Ravens fan. I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan, or I'm a fan of the Ravens. This isn't the Baltimore Lamars, right? If even those people, if he went right down 95 South, they wouldn't like that. they wouldn't like that because they have to go to work and listen to those people that are fans of that team down 95 South. They will not be okay with that. No. So no, he cannot go to Washington. Sorry. He says exactly. Right.
And I saw Keelan talking about how Josh Allen was a much better thrower coming out of college and had played much better in college, and that's not really true. He had more experience for sure. His best season, I mean, best in quotation marks, he had 28 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. That's not good, especially playing a lower level of competition at Wyoming. He was under 60% completion his last couple of years. He wasn't a great college player, and he got to the NFL and he was absolute garbage. In his first year, but they stuck with him. They built around him. They coached him up, and now he's a great quarterback. And that's the same kind of situation as Anthony Richardson. Just Anthony Richardson has a little less experience.
Yeah. Goldman says, and I feel you, Goldman. He says Pat Queen and Roquan Smith shutting things down next year. He says, "See, I love defense. Offense is cool, but defense is where it's at." I feel you. I love defense, but not in today's NFL, man. Like it's not the team that the teams that were in the Super Bowl. Philly was a third highest defense, third highest ranked defense.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
They're ranked higher than the Ravens, right?
Actually, I don't think they were by the end of the year. Not in points. I think the Ravens. I think the Ravens were first or second, I believe. That's what I was about to say. If defense is where it's at, then Baltimore would have been playing past the first round.
But that's what I was getting to, because in today's NFL, you can't build a defense like those 2000s, early 2000s Ravens in today's NFL. Like half of those hits are illegal now. You can't play that same way. So I love a good defense. You can't build your team around defense. You can't win by building a defense and no offense. And Philly understood that. That's why they built both sides of the ball, and they almost won. But Kansas City said, offense, more offense, more offense, and it was just too much for them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sal says Allen had nobody his first year with the Bills. Nobody can't judge. Not having great receivers is not an excuse to throw the ball 10 yards over people's head.
Or have more interceptions than touchdowns.
It was wildly inaccurate. It was not because they didn't have receivers. He was just trash.
And if the Panthers got Anthony Richardson, he's not working with trash.
No.
Right. I mean, they could do some more there, but
yeah, they need to add some receivers. They need to add a tight end, but they've got DJ Moore at a bare minimum.
Yeah,
you're talking about they have a very good number one.
Yeah, shout out to Bailey Got Beats. Says every team that was out on Lamar Jackson excluded unless they fully guarantee a deal. Period. I just think come Monday we're going to be laughing at what transpired yesterday. I think Monday comes and all bets are off because what do you, I mean, think about it. If you're an owner, what do I care what another owner wants, right? Yeah. Like I want that player. And just because you don't want to go past a certain point to pay him, what's that got to do with me?
Right.
Oh, well, we got to keep player salaries down. I have money, right? We have cap. I have the money to put in escrow. I'm talking about David Tepper, right? Mm-hmm. I have the money to put in escrow. That 250, 300 mil, that's nothing. That's nothing for him.
And Lamar is very savvy. Lamar has a great image. The fans love Lamar, so I don't think that he would go that route. But I mean, listen, I'm with you, Bailey. Like if I were Lamar Jackson, the first offer that I got in my hand, I would hold a public press conference and just run off the list of teams who are now out, and will feel my wrath. Like I'm not talking to you, and I'm gonna beat the hell out of you next year.
If Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, San Francisco, like a bunch of teams just started hitting me up, and the offers are looking good. Immediately, I'm telling those teams that said they were out, you guys are out.
Except for Carolina, because obviously they weren't. They didn't mean that. Who knows?
I would show the Raiders some mercy because they backtracked, fast enough. They said, "My bad." That right there tells you that they're not gonna hold the line. The Raiders, like they immediately came out and then said, "Nah, never mind. We're gonna look into him." They couldn't even the Panthers kind of halfway did it, right? They didn't say, "No, we're not interested." They said, "Yeah, we're gonna talk to him. We don't have real interest, but we're gonna talk to him." Right? Yeah, you're gonna talk to him, all right. And Tepper's gonna tell you, "Don't worry about it. I'm good for it."
Sal says Ravens, Flacco 9 playoff wins, 1 Super Bowl. Lamar 1 playoff win, MVP 4 years ago. Both played 5 years. Okay, Sal. Real quick, real simple question: is Flacco a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson? Is that what you think?
Yeah. I got another question. Was Flacco worth the money he got?
Flacco got that money. He quit playing football immediately.
He said,
That was the real portion of Don't Believe Me watch.
It was reported when he signed a deal, he went and celebrated at McDonald's. He went, got about 50 Happy Meals. Okay, because he was so happy, and he was like, "I'll see you suckers week 1."
Yeah.
Practice? We talking about practice?
His wide receivers were calling up, we gonna practice off season? He's like, hell no. I mean, y'all can.
Meet me at Subway.
This is my off time. Lose my number.
Vanity said Flacco started daydreaming during games and not giving a damn facts.
I don't blame him at all. What did Baltimore do the second they won a Super Bowl? They tore his offense apart.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay Torrey. You want to trade Anquan. Like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, Anand Narayan says McDaniels is mediocre coach. Yeah, he's not going to the Raiders.
The Raiders don't have the money to pay him, so it doesn't matter. They're out.
Yeah. Mark Davis is gonna have to start a GoFundMe or something, or a Patreon to get the money. Goldman says, I got you, but we didn't play Philly or the Chiefs last year. But the last time we played them, we won because of our defense. Yeah, when's the last time we played Philly? I don't even remember. But
I don't know about Philly, but the last time you played the Chiefs I'm pretty sure that score was in the 30s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you ain't win that game because of your defense. I can't listen. This is not directed at you, go man, but I can't stand when people start giving the defense credit because you made one play at the end of the game, a game that you gave up 45 points in.
Listen, man, we lost to the Steelers, the Browns. We lost to a lot of teams down the stretch, and the Bengals, obviously, 2 weeks in a row. We can make the excuses. But that's all that we get every time Lamar's not in the game is we have excuses why we don't win. But we get very few wins. Very few of those. Right? You can't get it done on just defense. Look, I'm not trying to write out defense. I still value defense. But it can't be just defense. We can't say, hey, that's right, stack up on defense and we go out there with Huntley and we just gotta be good enough and we'll win games. I'm not going anywhere with that.
Yeah, you need playmakers on defense, and I think Baltimore has that. Right, you need guys who can make timely plays for you, but you have to be able to score, and you have to be able to score a lot, and you have to be able to score at will.
Yeah. Sal says, win a Super Bowl, eat at all the McDonald's you want. Sal, you didn't answer the question though. Sal, you didn't answer the question. We asked you 2 questions. You answered. We asked you 2 questions. We need answers, please. Do you think he's better than Lamar? And do you think he was worth that contract? Simple. That's a great stat you put out there. Now ask that. Now answer if you think he's better than Lamar.
And do Peyton Manning next too.
Yeah. Do you think he's better than Peyton? Top Bill says, for those Ravens fans saying Flacco has a Super Bowl as a way to say he is better than Lamar Jackson, don't understand how football works. Dan Marino has 0 Super Bowls, facts, and is widely considered top 5 all time, facts. Yeah, it's hard to win one of those.
Yeah.
Now I give you some credit for winning, like it's part of your accomplishments.
Sure. Flacco was phenomenal throughout that playoff run.
Yeah.
And at no other point in his career, just like Eli Manning, he had 2 phenomenal playoff runs, and he was trash the rest of his career.
Now I want to be all the way transparent on this. When we won a Super Bowl, I was the same way I'm saying here now, saying I don't care, pay Lamar. I was the same way with Joe Flacco. I was like, I don't care. And everybody was laughing. Everybody, that I talked to, my friends that weren't Ravens fans, like, oh, you paid too much for him. I was like, I don't care. We got a Super Bowl. I don't care. I don't care if we never win again with Joe Flacco. Right? That's what I was saying. I was like, okay, we got a ring. What you got? Yeah. Right? He definitely wasn't worth it. That's for sure.
Sal says no, Flacco's not better. So I don't understand your point then. Yes, he was worth it. He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl on the previous contract. You don't pay for past performance.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you want to pay for past performance, you better give Justin Houston a huge raise because there was a year he had 20 plus sacks.
Yeah.
But he ain't doing that in Baltimore.
Right.
So what did Joe Flacco do after the Super Bowl, after he got that contract?
Right. Hendo says, I'm the one that jinxed us. It wasn't me. Once Heston said, he said the same thing. So it wasn't just me, Hendo. You said the same thing.
You can thank me for your ring because at the beginning of that year, we had this big argument about Joe Flacco and Tony Romo because Jose was calling Tony Romo a choker. I was like, he's better than Joe Flacco. I was like, you ain't never gonna win a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. And,
we did argue about that. Yo, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl and Tony Romo got his back broken, literally.
That's not funny.
It's not funny, man. But it was funny because he was always getting hurt.
Yeah.
He was always getting hurt, and then he tried to play it off that it was a preseason.
Yeah, because he knew Dak was coming for him. That Seahawks, you didn't have to do that. That was messed up. It was a preseason game. You didn't have to jump on his back like that. But my man got up and tried to lip off. He's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good, coach."
Like, you're not good, bro. You're not good. Sal says, so why is Lamar negotiating like he's won a Super Bowl? He's negotiating like he's been one of the top quarterbacks in the league since he started a full season. He's negotiating like he's been a unanimous MVP. He's negotiating like he's led the team in passing, rushing, yards from scrimmage since 2019.
Yeah. So what Lamar is negotiating on is the fact that he's 26 years old. And up to this point, he's been, like as I said, one of the top players in the NFL, regardless of position, and he's coming into his prime. You have to pay for a player's prime years, and Baltimore doesn't want to. That's what he's negotiating on. You know, if he were 38 right now, he wouldn't be asking for 200 and whatever it is he's asking for. That's why Russell Wilson got less than Kyler Murray. Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. He's been to a second Super Bowl. He's been way more successful than Kyler Murray, but he's much older than Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray got more money. Also, you're trying to project forward when you're negotiating these contracts.
Also, not only has he been that, and we're talking about wins and losses and all that stuff, he showed you exactly what they can do without him. Right? So, hey, you think you made me make Tyler Huntley. Go get some wins with him. Tyler Huntley got quite a few starts over the last couple of years. Right? We're talking, hey, Lamar missed so much time, right? At the end of the season. All right. How did Tyler Huntley do when Lamar was out? 2 wins.
Yeah. And so I was saying Lamar's negotiating like he's the best quarterback out there, isn't he? Lamar is the second best quarterback out there.
No. Who's better in free agency?
Well, no. Yeah, he's the best quarterback available. Listen, he's arguably the best quarterback who has ever been available. Right. In terms of just being a free agent like this, because everybody can negotiate with him. In terms of just in the league, he's the second best quarterback in the league.
Here's how free agency works, and this is why players like him don't usually hit the market. Right? I want to be the highest paid player at my position. And your team says, well, you're not the best player at your position. Well, who's better than me? This player. That it? Yeah. We'll go get one of them. We can't. They're not available. Oh, well, I guess you're going to have to pay me then. Right? Lamar's not the best quarterback. Pat Mahomes is. Go get Pat Mahomes. You can't? Damn.
Man, I'll be your Huckleberry, right?
Like that's how it works, right? That's the market. That's why they did a non-exclusive tag and not just let him go into free agency, because they know that these owners saying, yeah, we'll play ball with you guys to help you out. Once he's actually available, they're gonna say, nah, we'll give you that money, and they want to be able to match whatever, so they don't just lose him flat out. She says, Brodny, Lamar is coming home. He coming to Carolina. # keep pounding.
Damn right. Shug.
How much did you donate to Shug's stream the other night? Let me take a look at our books here. Shout out to Shug, man. Appreciate you coming through. All right, listen. Let's get to some NBA talk. We'll circle back around to bonus time and we'll keep this conversation going. But there's 130 people in here. Go ahead and hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. All right. We're gonna get into some NBA talk real quick. What do you want to say?
I hit NBA talk. They're about to be 60.
Huh?
I hit NBA talk. There's about to be 60 people in here.
Hey, listen. This is a sports channel. Okay, we gotta get the NBA content. Look, hang out. We're gonna talk some more Lamar in a minute. But we gotta give our NBA crowd, what they need. We're growing that community as well. All right, and trust me, you want to hear these stories. Okay, we don't talk boring stuff around here. Okay, who doesn't love a good old athlete with a gun, carrying a gun in the club, posting it on IG? You don't want to hear about that?
Jeez, Ja. Ja is the biggest idiot in the NBA right now.
So hold on. We gotta break out the other background for this. We gotta break it out. Bam. Got the old logo too. Look at that. Look at that. Or do you want this one? Which one do you want? We'll give him this one. All right. Listen, Ja Wick makes an appearance on IG, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are not NBA fans, who don't know who Ja Morant is, who don't know this story about him and the Grizzlies, let them know why we're talking about this.
Ja Morant was the number 2 pick in the Zion Williamson draft. He's from a small school. he kind of burst into the league and has been. I mean, he's freakishly athletic, right? Freakishly athletic. He's got a vertical like just a disrespectful vertical. The Lakers have seen it multiple times. I don't appreciate it at all. But you know, he's the point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's in what is it now? His third year, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
He's been a great player. He's improving. The problem with him on the court is he's gotten little to no jumper. That's going to hurt him as this career goes on unless he really works on that. But as of right now, I mean, he's got, like I said, he's got the athleticism, he's got the passing ability, he's got the attitude for sure. He's got that whole city energized around the Grizzlies again, like it's the grindhouse again. But he was accused of, I believe he's accused of pistol whipping a 17-year-old. Or it might have been he just beat up the 17-year-old and he pistol whipped somebody else.
A security guard.
So those were accusations. And so he was suspended for a couple games. And he hopped onto IG and decided he was going to show off his gun.
Well, before he hopped onto IG, there was a team meeting, right? Mm-hmm. Led by Steven Adams, his teammate.
Yes.
Okay. Big Steven Adams. If you don't know who Steven Adams is, if you ever watched Aquaman, that's Steven Adams. Okay. If you ever seen Game of Thrones, Khal Drogo, that's Steven Adams. Okay. Same person. Okay. He looks just like that, and he's much stronger than that guy.
And he's hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. I like Steven Adams. But you know, he said, hey, look, I'm looking at the numbers here. At home, we're winning a lot. On the road, we're losing a lot. So we're all going to agree that when we're on the road, we're going to stay in the hotels. Right, guys? Looking at John Morant. John's like, yeah, sure thing. Right? And as soon as they said, okay, break, everybody went back to the rooms. Ja dipped out. Said, hey, man, I got to get my clubbing in. Shout out to what was that? T-Sizzle?
Tizzle.
I'm sorry.
First time listening live and love the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. So he went out, and I mean, look, I get it. I get being young and dumb, and I can only imagine what I would do in my 20s with millions of dollars. Nothing good, right? But I mean, you carry the gun to the club, and then you just decide, I'm going to post this on IG. Why? You didn't even look tough doing it. Like,
right. He looked pretty stupid doing it.
Yeah, and I don't like at least when Gilbert Arenas did it, you know, he could say, I was just joking. Thank you, Anna, for subscribing. Appreciate that.
You just subscribed? Wow, it's like that. All right,
this ain't your first time in here, Anon. This ain't your first time.
Thank you, though. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Listen, everybody, let's take a break.
That's why you got to say it 10 times a show.
Everybody, yes, I'm about to say everybody. Okay, there's 119 people in here. Everybody, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you're actually subscribed, because I know YouTube does that, right? You watch a couple of videos from a channel and they keep suggesting to you, and you think you subscribed. You're not actually subscribed. Go ahead and make sure it says subscribed on it. Okay.
Yes.
All right, do that. Appreciate it. All right. This is so funny. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. So no, but yeah, so the team suspended him, and now they're investigating how long did he have that gun on him? Did he take it on the plane?
Yeah, right. There's rumors that he had it on the plane.
Yeah.
But look, good news for him. They did not have enough evidence to charge him with any crimes, which is a different thing than he didn't do it, but that's good. It's good for Ja.
But they announced today that he is suspended for at least the next 4 or 5 games, at least. And I just think it's one of those things where they're just not sure when they want him to come back, right?
Yeah.
And it's because, all right, you're a great talent. Okay, you're being a knucklehead. This isn't the worst thing in the world, but what's doing them in is you're losing, right? And you're too good to be losing the way you're losing. So it's like, well, you're so distracted and you're distracting the team that you're gonna have to go away for a little bit. Okay. If you're winning on the road, hey man, look, it was a toy gun. I'm pretty sure it was a toy gun. It's no big deal, right? But when you're losing, yeah, that's serious. So, Ja, man, I don't think it's the most egregious thing in the world. I know people are like, oh man, Ja, like they think this is gonna be a menace to society type of situation. I don't think it's gonna be that, right? I think he's gonna be fine. He's just being a knucklehead. But yeah, sit him down for a little bit, let him know that we're not playing.
Well, it's like a lot of former players are coming out and saying like this is why young teams need veteran players, and they don't really have any in Memphis. I think Steven Adams he's one of the oldest players on the team, and he's not very old. They don't have any vets to kind of teach them how to conduct themselves in the NBA on and off the court. Because I mean, listen, John Moran is one thing what he's doing. Dylan Brooks is out there losing his mind every night too. Like he's out there trying to start fights with everybody he sees, and then go run behind Steven Adams to clean it up. Like, yeah, so maybe it's time for them to find their own Udonis Haslem. Maybe go see if Zach Randolph wants to join the staff or something, and bring in some people who can, I don't want to say like, because it's not like being father figures or anything, right? But just kind of rein them in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Aaron. Bro jumps out the gym like he got a flubber on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it should be illegal. I don't think that's fair at all.
Yeah, Stephen A. don't like him at all. Stephen A. don't like anybody that doesn't kiss the ring. All right, yeah, I can't stand Stephen A.
Two generations of players past his prime. They don't talk to him no
more. All right, okay. The second story, right, and then we're gonna get back. Look, they don't care. They want to hear some Lamar. We're gonna get back to Lamar in just 1 second. But the second story I want to talk about is this beef. There's some ESPN beef. Do you guys want to hear about it? Do you want to hear about it? JJ Redick versus Kendrick Perkins.
Hold on, real quick before you go in, I want to say to go, man. He says defense got us 2 Super Bowls. Why change now? Can't score, can't win. Defense got you 1 Super Bowl. The defense on that second Super Bowl,
it's not good.
Not good. Not good at all. Sorry. Let's go ahead.
And how long do you want to wait for that to circle back around?
Right.
Okay. It's been over a decade now, right?
I like how he said can't score, can't win, because that describes Baltimore, not the other team.
Yeah, you're right. We can't score and we can't win. Okay. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. That formula isn't going to work. How long do you want to keep trying that formula? The league has changed. We'll get back into that in a second. We'll get back into that in a second. Yes, living legend. JJ versus Perk. Yes. This, I'm not even sure where it originated because I don't watch ESPN like that. But from what I could tell, there was a discussion about Jokic being MVP for the 3rd straight year. Okay. And look, he's definitely worthy of conversation, no doubt. But obviously, you got Giannis out there, you got Embiid, you got some other players out there that are considered too. I'm not even sure. I don't think Jokic is a runaway MVP, and I think that's kind of what Perkins' point was. But then, Perkins is not a fan of Jokic, and he says, "Oh, where did I hear this before?" But. Yeah, he threw a shot, say, "Hey, I think Jokic passed his stats, right?" And not just JJ Redick. A lot of people are like, "No, I don't agree." They need him to do what he does. And look, he's just not a fan of Jokic winning it for a 3rd time. And he says, "Hey," he suggested. He didn't quite say. He's just like, "Hey, maybe there's some racial bias going on, right?" And JJ Redick clutched his pearls, gasped, said, "Guys, this is the problem. I respect your show, Stephen A. I respect your show, right? It's an honor to be on this show, but this is the problem with the show is that you guys put out false narratives that don't jive with reality." Well, I don't know what reality you live in, JJ, but racial discrimination is very real in my world.
He said, "I live in the reality where I have 5 white NBA heroes." All right, so back up. No, listen, I see kind of both sides because Jokic. I don't think anybody really thinks that he's the best player in the league.
Right.
But that's not what the award is. The award is the most valuable player.
Yes.
And he's a guy, he's a great offensive player. You know, he's the best passing big man, arguably, of all time. arguably the best passing big man of all time. You know, I mean, they're undefeated this year when he has a triple double, 28-0, and they're the 1 seed in the West. So it's the most valuable player. It's not best player.
Yeah.
To Perkins kind of insinuating that, you know, there's some bias in the voting. I mean, you know, I guess you could see that. I wouldn't really call it any kind of discrimination or anything like that. I mean, I think it's natural for white fans to connect more with white players, black fans to connect more with black players. So when you see a player like Jokic or a player like Luka, Steve Nash, Larry Bird, Dirk, or whoever, you're going to be naturally more drawn to them, right? The same way black fans are to Jordan and Kobe and Allen Iverson, you know, and LeBron, you know, and I mean, I think honestly, this kind of just boils down to there aren't that many great white players. Just leave it alone. Like it doesn't. It's not. That's
the point Perkins was making, right? He said 80% of the voters are white, 20% are non-white. So it's not even 20% are black. It's other.
Yeah.
Right. And he's right. I understand. You know, Perkins. You know, he doesn't put together the best structured sentences.
And until Draymond got something to say, then he's the most eloquent man you ever seen.
Hold on, you okay?
But yeah, I think the problem with the argument that Perkins is making here is that Nikola Jokic is a legitimate MVP.
Sorry about that.
And I was just saying the problem with the argument that he's trying to make is that Nikola Jokic is a legitimate MVP. He's not some guy who's being propped up because he's white.
Yeah,
he is a great player, and he's propelling Denver past where they would otherwise be through his own talent.
So it's one of those. It would have been a good debate if JJ didn't get so emotional and get off script, right? Like you're supposed to take this side. Perkins supposed to take this side and, you know, get off your high horse, man. Like JJ's starting to feel himself a little too much. Right?
JJ's been on that high horse since Duke, man. It's working for him.
You don't recognize that there could be some racial discrimination there. What Perkins said is absolutely right. It's absolutely right. Like that could factor in. Now you could say, yeah, I hear you. And there could be a little bit of that going on. I can acknowledge that, but that doesn't take away from what Jokic has done. And, you know, I don't necessarily think that's what's going on in this situation. You can flip it like that. But when you get out there and say, oh, you know, you guys push these narratives that don't jive with reality. Excuse me? Excuse me? Like, what are you talking about? It's easy for you to say that. That's when people say, oh, well, yeah, well, you're white. You don't have to live in that reality. Right. Yeah. So, like, I mean, know your audience, you know where you live, you know, like where you live, what country you're in. And recognize that is a absolute possibility, not a possibility, a probability.
Yeah, and I think that JJ typically is on the right side of topics like this. I think that he was shocked at the intimation that Jokic isn't worth it, because he is just objectively as a player. You know, like I said, you're not giving an MVP to Alex Caruso here, right? Like you're giving the MVP to one of the top players in the NBA. So, you know, and their lack of playoff success doesn't factor into it because it's a regular season award.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think if they wanted to have, where Perkins should have gone is that, you know, it's a different discussion to say we need to change the way we vote for MVP, change the parameters for the award or something like that, because Jokic is clearly one of the best regular season players in the league. So arguing that he shouldn't get a third MVP or there's some bias in him getting a third MVP is not an argument that I think is going to get a lot of traction.
Yeah. Shout out to Shook over on Twitch says, I'm shocked no one is over here in Twitch hanging out with me. Yes, we stream live on Twitch as well. So
Yes.
if you have a Twitch account, go ahead and follow us on Twitch. Appreciate it. All right. Look, not everybody ran out. Okay. They want to hear. I told you want to hear the story. I told you. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to circle back to the Lamar talk in a second, but first we got to give a word from our sponsors. Ourselves. Yes. Listen. Look, you mentioned it earlier. Okay. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. That's how you can support this show further. Okay. Appreciate our version of the super chats. Okay. The super duper chats. All right. Which you can do by hitting up our Cash App, $LBHTShow, or hitting that pin link that you see in the chat box. But another way to support is patreon.com/LBHTShow. All right. I mentioned the Discord earlier. There's a lot of chatter in the chat box tonight. Love it. Great conversations. If you want to keep the conversation going, B's going to tell you how you can do that by signing up to Patreon and getting access to our Discord.
Yeah, so we have 3 tiers. We have the $3 tier, which is kind of a general support tier that gets you into the Discord, like Jose said, and it also gets you into our NFL Pick'em League that we do every season, and we give away a custom LBHT trophy or plaque. This year it's a plaque. The past couple of years, this has been the trophy, but we got rid of that because Mike broke it. So we switched it up to a plaque. The plaque looks very nice. We gotta get a picture of that as well.
Yes, I'm working on
it. And I mean, you can get the picture anytime because we're not delivering that to Hendo.
I saw Hendo and I didn't even get it to him. I'm sorry, Hendo.
The next tier up is the $10 tier, and that'll get you the LBHT crew coin that Jose has right there.
Yes.
As well as it gets you entrance into our fantasy football leagues. We have a dynasty league where we play for a custom championship belt that looks like that. Last year, we're going to be upgrading the belt this season, but it'll look similar to that. And if you win the league, you get to put your logo on one of the side plates to give it a little bit of a sense of history. And also, we have a redraft league going on. That one's just for fun, but if there's enough interest, we can convert that one into a dynasty league as well. Then we have the $20 tier, which is a combined tier for this show and our boxing podcast that we do with OTR Mike, Ring Kings podcast. At the $20 tier, you get everything I mentioned, plus our custom poker set featuring our top 25 fighters of all time. That was a 5-part series that we did on Ring Kings. That was a lot of fun, kind of breaking down the top 25 fighters. We had Suge, our guy OTR Mike, Deshaun were on there with us. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great series. I say check that out if you haven't seen it. And like I said, all the tiers will get you into our overtime show that we do every week after the live show and entrance into our Discord server. I do want to say also that our guy Hendo, Ravens Online Ungatekeepers, despite how he did it, okay, he has his own fantasy football league on his Patreon. He has his own Pick'em league where he gives away a championship ring and a championship belt for the fantasy league. Now, this past season, he waited until he won. He didn't say that he was giving away a belt, but he waited until he won both those leagues and he bought himself some rewards. But but I would say, if you think that you have the skills, sign up to both Patreons. That's patreon.com/ROUG. That's for Rogue, for Hendo. Sign up to both leagues and see if you can be walking around here like Roman Reigns with both championship belts, or see if you can be walking around like one of these undisputed champions in boxing with multiple championship belts. I don't think you can do it. I know I can. But if you think you've got the skill, go ahead to both our Patreon and Hendo's Patreon. That's patreon.com/ROUG. Sign up for both leagues, and we'll see what you got.
All right. Now, speaking of champions, I need to take a second to recognize our friend, okay, Jansen McMillan. He was the original Pick'em League champion, but also a real champion in real life. Okay, that is Coach Jansen McMillan, okay, of the Long Reach High School basketball team. Okay, they just won the county championship and the regional championship. Okay, they had a tough loss this weekend in the state semifinals, but Wild Lake won the county title for the first time since 1976. Jeez. All right, he also got his 100th win as a head coach in that in that win. This is his first year. He used to be a Glenelg High School basketball coach. His first year as the head coach at Wild Lake High School, and made some history. A good friend of ours. Okay, he helped get this podcast off the ground with us. You know, he was one of our early guests, part of the original LBHT crew. Okay, shout out to Jansen, shout out to E, who's in the chat, shout out to Brandy. Like, they really contributed to our podcast before we were on YouTube to begin with. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, man. Just say, hey man, like, we're proud of you and congratulations. All right. Now back to the show in a second, but I'm gonna plug this. Look, you like the merch? Do you like what we're wearing? If you're looking at our screen and saying, man, I like that shirt. Okay, I like that beanie. Right. I like that stuff. Where did it get it from? Right here. LBHTShow.com/shop. We got a lot of merch on there. Go ahead and check it out. If you see something that you like, go ahead and support. Okay. It'll be greatly appreciated. And look, we said subscribe to Hendo. If you're looking on YouTube, you're not sure what his channel looks like. It looks like that. Ravens Online Ungatekeepers. Okay. Also, Deep Cover Pod. You trying to get some more Ravens fix? That's where you go. Deep Cover Pod. You got Chris Just Joking. You got Michael Crawford, and you got Kerry. What's his last name?
I don't know his last name, Jose.
Oh, okay. Sorry, but you got Kerry. I remember the first name. Okay. Go check them out. They can dive into the X's and O's way better than we can. Okay, it's a great podcast to listen to. Another great X's and O's person is Coach Evans from Sip 2 Tally Films. That's also where you can find all of us every Monday night at 9 p.m. for the Ravens Roundtable. All right. Also, our brother OTR Mike, who is working hard tonight. He's working some overtime. Open mic with OTR Mike. Okay, go over there, subscribe to all these places. And if you are a boxing fan, Ring Kings podcast is where you can find myself, Brodny, and OTR Mike. Okay, we just put out part 2 of our pound for pound top 10 list. So the whole list is out. You can go see who we have ranked number 1. All right. Now, back to some Lamar talk. All right. So, Kerry Stevens. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Coach.
What's up, Zico Kage? Appreciate you coming through. Mr. J says, hi, B. Hey, B, is there going to be a Panthers beanie soon?
You know what? Now that you asked, yes, there will, Mr. J, just for you.
Just for you, okay? Hey, listen. We have merch on that store. We have a lot of things, but, you know, we cycle through the stuff. You know, we get things that you guys like. We respond to what you guys are buying, what you're requesting. So if there's something on there that you want to see, or, you know, you got some feedback on that stuff, let us know and we'll make adjustments.
And let me clarify, there will not be a Carolina Panthers beanie because we are not licensed to sell Carolina Panthers merchandise, but there will be a beanie that is reminiscent of your fandom for the Carolina Panthers.
Maybe we can put this on a beanie. Okay. The keep pounding, that is not, has nothing to do with Carolina Panthers. Okay. Any similarities is strictly coincidental. Okay. That guy, he looks sad in that picture because we told him after he's finished modeling that shirt for us, he has to take it off. So he wasn't happy about that. Also, this has nothing to do with the Baltimore Ravens. I know you're seeing those wings there. Okay. But, you know, it just happens to be called Raven City. But, you know, look, you know, any similarities, strictly coincidental, but those will be on the shop as well. All right. Now, bonus time. And what are we doing in bonus time? More Lamar talk. Let's see. Look, bonus time is where you guys, we spend a few minutes talking about whatever you want to talk about, Lamar, I'm sure. And then we are going to end the show and we are going to go to our overtime show. Okay. And what are we discussing on the overtime show? Let's pull it up here. Look at that. Look at that. 2 guys that got some money. Danny Dimes and Derek Carr. We're going to be discussing some other moves that happened around the NFL because it wasn't just Lamar. You know, look, those 2 right there. they're pretty happy. There's some other moves. There's some other moves that we anticipate will happen come up here in free agency. So we're gonna discuss all of that in the overtime show, and you can be a part of that for just $3. If you have $3 in your pocket, I know you do. I know you do. Go on over to patreon.com/LBHTShow and sign up right now. Okay, what we got here, B? Let's see. Attitude Pop says Ravens really trying to sabotage this man from getting the money he wants and deserves. Yeah, and it's not going to work.
I know he's going to get his money even if he ends up signing back with Baltimore. Like, they're going to have to pay for him.
Shannon, I'm glad you brought this up. I am trying to keep up with who to sub to. You know what? We also have a website, LBHTShow.com. I'm going to clean that up, and I'm going to lay out everything for you guys. So I'm gonna take the thinking out of it for you. You just go to the website, and it'll have a list of all the channels when they're going live. You know, when they put out videos and all that stuff, it'll all be right there for you. All right, but look, just maybe I'll put it in the description when I'm done. I'll put the links to everybody in the description to make it easier for you. But these are all roundtable approved channels. Look, YouTube can be very very scary. Okay, there's literally millions of channels out there. Okay, and YouTube will say, hey, go check this out over here. Hey, go over here, go check this out. Okay, we're gonna guide you through these streets, through these YouTube streets. All right, but I appreciate that feedback, and we're gonna do something about that very soon. All right. She says cool. What we got going on here? Yes. Dion. Dion is also the one of the coaches on the Wild Lake High School team. Yes. And shout out to both of them. No, they didn't win it in the 90s. They won, not the county. They won it in 1976. I read the newspaper. So what's going on, Darren? Appreciate you. He says, damn, Mr. LJ Talk. What's up, guys? Hey,
what's up, Darren?
Hey, the LJ Talk is back on. What you want to hear? Okay. The owners are trying to collude to keep Lamar from getting paid until Monday.
Yes. Well, yeah, they essentially gave him a 1 week extension to try and get it done because they weren't able to get the deal done. So a bunch of teams came out and said, hey, we don't want Lamar for sure. We don't want a 26-year-old former unanimous MVP at the most important position in the league. No, thank you. And so now they're saying, hey, we did our part. Now you better go back in there and get this deal done because come Monday at 4 p.m., all of us are calling Lamar.
Right. And that's exactly what they're going to say. They're going to say that Sunday night, like, did you guys get a deal done? No.
They're not going to say it Sunday. They already told him. They said, listen, we're not going to not sign a player of Lamar's caliber. So, we can't talk to him until next week anyway. So we'll come out and make some BS statement. Oh, well, whatever. I don't care.
Right.
But Monday at 4, we're all calling.
They probably texted Lamar's people before they put that out there. Like, you're going to hear something. Don't listen to that. That's not real. Sal says, why is everyone mad? Ravens told him to go out there, see what you get, and come back. They are doing him a favor. No, that's not what they said. If they were saying that, they would just let him be a free agent, right? They said, we want to control the situation as much as possible. Oh, by the way, we're going to tell the other owners to say that they're not interested right now to try to sway your opinion. That's just dirty.
Yeah. That's not. You know why? And this is something that I was going to suggest that we talk about on the OT, but I think that we all have the same opinion on it because the franchise tag is absolute garbage. What you always hear with fans is, when players want to hold out or players ask for more money is, oh, honor your contract, right? Well, Lamar honored his contract. He played all 5 years, and now he's a free agent. That's the reward for honoring the contract. Except they came behind him and said, well, no, you're not. Here's a franchise tag now. You can't leave unless we let you.
Yeah.
And that's why, because, the owners, they have things like that. They have no fewer than 5 ways to keep free agents from being actual free agents and from being able to test the market. And it's every single one of them is to hold down salaries, to prevent players from making the money that they're worth.
I actually want to do a video on why there shouldn't be a franchise tag. That might be a video coming soon. There shouldn't be a franchise tag. There shouldn't be a draft. That's right. There shouldn't be an NFL draft. Right. Yeah. And there shouldn't be a salary cap. Those might be 3 videos on the way. Stay tuned. And what is it with fans taking the owner's sides and all this, right? I get the selfishness from Ravens fans because you just want to keep Lamar at all costs. But everybody else, man, it's like, why are you siding with them? Like, clearly this is collusion. It's illegal. You're not supposed to be able to do that. Okay, we can't prove it, but you know that's what it is, right? And why are they doing that to keep a player's salary down? Because they know if they don't do it this way, that player is going to get what he wants, right? What he deserves.
Well, I mean, he won't even get what he deserves because you still have a salary cap in place to artificially, hold down salaries, but he'll get paid more than anybody before him.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a salary cap, like you said, because it's just it's an artificial cooler. It keeps people from being able to live up to their earning potential. And nobody else would like that in their own line of business. Nobody would put up with that and say, hey, well, you're the best in the world at what you do, but hey, we're going to cap you at $75,000.
This is it right here, Sal. The Ravens can match. Don't forget. So when you say, oh, they're doing him a favor, they're not doing him a favor, right? Because they're saying, go out, get the best deal you can. What if Lamar just legit wants to leave?
Right. What if he doesn't want to play for Baltimore anymore?
Yeah. So they can keep him there. They're trying to control the situation. So they're not doing him any favors, right? They're doing what's in their best interest. And their best interest ain't in Lamar's best interest right now. Alex Rita says Ravens aren't doing him a favor. Doing him a favor would be paying him what he wants. The only reason you expose him to the open market is that you hope the market won't support his demands. Facts. Also, I want to bring up too, right? Because I wish I had pulled that tweet up from, I think it was Sarah Ellison. I can't remember who it was, but basically talking about the Ravens needing to get under the salary cap, because that's the other part that gets lost in this whole thing is right now they're about $9 million over the cap. So there's some moves that they need to make before free agency hits, okay, which is next week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and they're talking about some possibilities of restructuring some players' deals, either restructuring or releasing. Some of the players that were mentioned were Devin Duvernay, newly signed Roquan Smith, and yes, Project Pat. Oh man. Now these guys are, they're valued players, right? Like we know, like the Lamar, we talking about he ain't have no weapons. He got weapons. They're valued players. What I say they should do is if the owners are going to show solidarity, the players should show solidarity and say, we are not restructuring any deals to help you screw Lamar over. You're either going to pay him or you can cut us, but there'll be no restructure. You can't even cut Roquan Smith. Roquan would be like, nah, kick rocks. I just got my money. You can't do anything about it, right? Too early to cut him. Devin Duvernay, okay, maybe you cut me. He'll get a job, right? He's an excellent returner, so he'll get work somewhere. Project Pat, somebody out there wants a fullback, okay? He'll get a job, but them needing to go and ask players, hey, can you possibly redo your deal to help me make sure Lamar doesn't get the deal he wants? They should say no.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Sal here saying that's right. It's called business. So is it business or are they doing him a favor? Those are two different things. And Ron said they are doing him a favor. An exclusive tag allows Lamar to speak to no one. That's not what a favor is, Ron. Do you think he went to Eric DaCosta and said, hey, please tag me so that I don't have any options? Is that what you think happened?
Well, that's not 100% true, Ron. The exclusive tag doesn't prevent him from talking to any other team. The team can still give him permission. So if we're talking about favors, right? Like if they still want to see what other teams are offering, they can allow Lamar to go in and talk to other teams and see what is being offered, and then they can figure out from there, do we want to pay that, or do we want to say, okay, you can sign there, we'll work out a trade to send you over there, right?
Yeah, just listen. I don't know where the miscommunication is with some fans. The franchise tag is never in the player's best interest.
Well,
it is a tool for teams to screw players out of money.
So nothing personal, just business. So if Lamar says, I'm not playing next year, are you guys going to say, hey, man, it's just business? Or are you going to take it personal because you want him to play for your team? Because that is business. Lamar is not under contract. He doesn't have to sign that tender. He doesn't have to play. If Lamar shows up, if Lamar does play next year, but I'm not showing up to week 5, is that going to be just business, or are you going to take it personal? Right? You're going to take it personal, especially if we're losing games. Mm-hmm. You're going to take it very personal. But it's just business, right? How are you going to get mad at a person that's not on your team? Right? So, I mean, there's still some moves left for Lamar. Like, this isn't the Ravens have the upper hand here. But when the player gets the upper hand and it's at the detriment of the team, that's when y'all get upset. Mm-hmm. What else we got here? What's up, Z the Beast? He says Lamar just needs one team. Dang, it feels good to get in a stream. What up, fellas? What's up with you, man? He says it will hurt when I'm no longer a Ravens fan.
Listen,
no,
Agent, it'll hurt Bashadi. You gonna be happy, Agent.
That's the other part that they gotta look at, right? How many people are going to show up to these games next year if Lamar ain't here, right? Raven Ross says, I disagree. It is personal, not business. Since Lamar don't have an agent, you hear what EDC really thinks. He wouldn't want to play for the Ravens. But that works two ways, right? So Lamar says, EDC, you haven't done a good job building this team. Mm-hmm. You know, I presented the stats earlier. I am your offense. You have terrible coaching. You brought in terrible players. You haven't done a good job scouting. You or Ozzy. Right, you've done nothing to build a real contender, and I've shown you that when I don't play, you can't win. You think he don't take that personal?
Yeah, and even if he had an agent, it's still personal, right? Because what you're doing as Eric DeCosta, as the Ravens organization, is trying to acquire my services for as little as possible. You're not trying to pay me what I'm worth, so that's personal. Yeah, you're trying to lower my earning potential as much as you possibly can. That is always personal.
Yeah. All right, we gotta wrap this up because this is hashtag no 2 hours over here. We're getting dangerously close. Shout out to Raven C on the way out. He says Harbs won't even show up without Lamar because he'll be fired. Facts. Facts. All right, listen, Overtime Show is about to start. If you want to continue this conversation and some more NFL conversation, go over to patreon.com/LBHTShow. If you have $3 in your pocket, sign up right now. It takes 2 seconds. All right, but if not, thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. B, are you ready?
I'm ready.
B is ready. Patrons, get ready. Give us a couple minutes. The Overtime Show will start shortly. Everybody else, have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.